Alright, so I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I haven't gotten a chance to yet. I think it was around June 7th, I did shrooms for the fourth time, and that was the most eye-opening one, I think, out of all the times that I've done it. And I wanted to share it with you guys. So, I will. I've done shrooms 4 times, like I said. The fourth time was in my dorm room at the University of Toledo. And I'll tell you the whole story, make more sense. It started off with this guy, David, and him and my roommate Annie and I and my boyfriend, now Devin, were in my room. And David had talked about doing it, and Devin went to a party at Chris's. And I was talking to David, and I told him that I wanted to do it. But he said it depended on if his friend was going to do it or not. Because he had told him that he would give it to him, and he decided that he was going to do it with me. So we went back to his dorm, and we got them when we came back to ours, and I took it. And we started off by just watching some crazy videos on YouTube, like cows, 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 and Ba, and a whole bunch of other ones. And it got to be too intense for David, so he stopped. And I went and I watched this one called The Scariest Thing Ever, I think, or Video Ever, Watch When You're High. And I watched that, and I was tripping out a little bit, and I started to feel it. And when you start to feel it, it's kind of like really hard to explain, so I won't get into that. But then, I remember looking at the wall, and I would just look around my room, and I looked at the wall, and it started kind of like pulsing a little bit, and it started to sort of ripple, kind of like if you drop something in water, it just kind of like rippled everywhere. And we had these Christmas lights in our room, not the ones you see behind you, but they're the ones that are up there. They're all white, and they were around the top of the room. And I looked up at them, and they started changing from white to green and to pink and back to white. And so that's kind of when I knew I started to feel it. On Annie's side of the room, she had this picture of horses on the wall, and they were kind of grazing in this field or whatever. And I looked over at them, and they were actually moving and grazing in this field, and it was kind of cool. After that, I remember laughing a lot. I remember everything seemed to be really funny to me. At one point, I felt like I was just laying in a pile of my body parts. Like, my head was literally like where my stomach is, and I felt like I was just intertwined and like flopping over my body. And that was kind of weird. I haven't really shared that with a lot of people. I kind of leave that out when I tell the story because I feel like people wouldn't understand unless they've done it before. And I remember, I don't know why, but I got really sweaty. Like, my hands were all sweaty, and I looked down, and my skin had this weird, like, green texture to it, and kind of blotchy looking. Kind of like a grid, sort of like when you do DMT. Then, after that, I decided, because I kept feeling like I was peeing myself for some reason, because I was so sweaty, which is kind of embarrassing. But so I got up and I went to the bathroom, and I remember laughing about, like, sitting on the toilet, and I put my hand up against the stall, and it kind of started to, like, melt into like the next stall, and it was kind of cool. And then I stood up and I flushed the toilet and I leaned against the wall. And the toilet started talking to me. And I really don't remember what it said. It was not really that important. But I remember after talking to it for a while, it kind of stopped and was like, you know what? You should go back in the room because your friends are gonna miss you. And they're probably worrying about you. And I was like, you know what? You're right. So then I got back up and I went back into the room. And I lay back down and I was kind of tripping out a little bit. And I get a call from Devin. And Devin's like, hey, I'm at this party. I was wondering if you want me to come back and be with you. And of course I said yes, because I didn't want to be alone, because Annie was with David, and I didn't want, like, there's points in, like, times in your trip that you like to be around people that you feel comfortable with, and I don't have a problem with David or Annie. I felt like, I was more comfortable with him and being with him when I was tripping. So he ended up coming back, and, I asked Annie to go down and get him because there's no way that I would have been able to go down there in the state that I was in. So she made a big to-do about it. She had been in a bad mood all night, regardless, because when you do things like that, you can feel, like, legitimately feel what other people are feeling. And she didn't like that she was the only one who was sober. So it kind of made her upset. And so she was in a bad mood. And, like, I could feel exactly what she was feeling, and I kept telling her, Annie, you just need to relax. Like, I'm feeling great, so why can't you? But, I mean, I guess you can't really understand unless you are in that situation, which is understandable. So she goes downstairs to get Devin and have a cigarette. And, David's on Annie's bed, and he's on his computer, and I'm just laying in bed. I think I had gotten off my computer at that time, and David goes, Grace, look at this picture I found. And he flips his laptop over and he shows me this picture of a kitten. And I look at it, and it was probably one of the cutest things I've ever seen. And I was like, oh my god. And I just start bawling my eyes out. Tears are streaming down my face. And I'm like getting up and dabbing my eyes with tissues, and I mean, I probably look like a hot mess right then. And I get up to go to the bathroom a second time, and I get right where we have this rug in front of the front door, and the door opens and Devin walks in with Annie, and he doesn't really hesitate. He just wraps his arms around me and holds me, and he's really drunk. And I remember feeling this, like, insane happiness, kind of, like, having him there was really comforting for me. So he comes in, and we lay in my bed, and he's really drunk, and we start talking, and for some reason he thinks he's a Greek god, and so he's, like, talking about that, and trying to explain Greek mythology to me, which I really didn't understand, because when you're on shrooms, you don't understand anything. It's really hard to focus on one single thing. And so I'm trying to explain to him, like, I don't understand what you're talking about, but then he keeps going, shh, and, like, making all these cute noises in my ear, and we'd kiss occasionally, and Annie ended up making food, and she drank a little bit, so she was in a better mood, and, Devin comes and lays with me, and we start kissing a little bit, and I would stop because I feel like I was melting when I closed my eyes, and I got to the point when it started to wear off a little bit, and he kisses me, and I look at him, and I say, I love you, and he looks at me and he's like, Grace, please don't say that, and I felt really bad because it was the first time I've ever said anything like that to him, so I kind of felt bad, but, I kind of realized in that moment that I meant it, and that's another story, but, So we ended up kissing a little more. And Annie turns off the lights and they're about to go to bed. And Devin whispers in my ear, "I'm ready for you." And we ended up having sex. Anybody who does shrooms with someone they date, I'd highly recommend it. It can either make or break your sexual experiences. It's a really, really good time. But I had a great time on shrooms, and I really enjoyed it. And we ended up having sex, and afterwards, it was really funny because he gets up to go to the bathroom, and he comes back, and he's like, "You're pregnant now." And David freaks out and he starts laughing, and Annie gets mad because she's trying to have this conversation with him about them dating, which always ends up not going the way she planned. And so he comes back and he lays back down. And I remember, like, bawling my eyes out afterwards. I don't think Devin noticed, but I was crying because I realized that I fucked up. And I messed up my college experience, and that's why I'm home now. But that's my shrooms trip. I forget a lot of it, I hate to say. I'm really, really excited to do it again. And I'll probably make another video when I do it again, but I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed listening. So, thank you.